is intended for a mature audience. If you are not 18 or older, stop listening and find more age-appropriate content. This show will cover topics in a satirical manner. If you are offended by any content herein, that is your own problem. As you have been warned, please do not try this at home, or anywhere else for that matter.
So, welcome to Blown Pistons. I'm your host, Gremlin Dave. Joining me today, we had Adam Ferrara.
Hello, Dave. How are you?
I am good. How are you, sir?
What, Gremlin Dave? I'm guessing you got an AMC. What year is it?
Oh, I wish. I actually don't. It was given, that nickname was given to me when I worked in a parts store, or I worked at a car dealership, and I was a parts guy, and I was running around. And they always called me like the parts gremlin.
Oh, okay.
And that was from a good friend of mine that actually passed a couple years ago. So I just kind of kept it.
Well, cool name to have, and and I'm glad it reminds you of your friend. If I was going to get an AMC, I don't know if it would be a Gremlin. I always wanted the Pacer, but I only wanted the back half of the Pacer, and I wanted to put the back half of the Pacer into my garage wall and fill it with fish.
Oh, that would be cool.
Fish tank. Yeah.
Yeah, the big bubble tank.
My friend Greg Garcia actually has a Pacer. He's a TV guy. His new show is called Sprung. It's on Freevee, and his Pacer is in the show.
Oh, cool.
It was funny. I drove to his house to interview him for my podcast, and the Pacer was sitting there. He's also got a 77 Trans Am that Burt Reynolds signed.
Nice.
Yeah, and he's got an old Ranchero. So the Trans Am he's got, right? He's got, and you know the story with that car is, it was a 76. They just put the front clip on for 77 because they wanted the new models to be featured in the movie, but the car wasn't ready yet.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, but if I was going to get an AMC, Dave, I think I like the Eagle. Remember the Eagle, the four-wheel drive?
Oh,
Eagle?
Yeah. Those things are really cool. I mean, that was actually like one of the first entries for SUVs or like crossover.
Yeah. Before they knew what it was. And that or 70 Javelin, the red, white, and blue Javelin. It looked like a bomb pop.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know if you watch a lot of NASCAR at all.
I like the first 3 laps and the last 3 laps.
But they had the Darlington race, which is a throwback race last week.
Right.
And Joey Logano actually ran that paint scheme.
He did?
Yeah, the red, white, and blue.
That was a Penske car, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think Roger Penske got the first win with that in 73. So
not bad, but yeah, I would get that one. If an AMC, the Matador, probably one of the ugliest cars I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, and then
the Dodge Caliber too. To the point, I don't know what's going on here. The Dodge Caliber too, ugly.
Oh yeah, not a fan.
It looked like a toe on a Rock'em Sock'em robot. Remember the Rock'em Sock'em robots? Like if that thing had a big toe. That's what it always reminded me of, especially if it was red.
Oh yeah,
what was that Aston, that ugly Aston Martin, the sedan with the thin grill in the front. I'm blanking on the name. I forget, but that was ugly too. And then it's cool, and a Pontiac Aztek is just it's vomit on wheels. But there's cool ugly too. Like the Volkswagen thing is cool ugly. The Maserati Bora I always thought was cool ugly.
Oh yeah,
that was a cool ugly car.
Speaking of the Aztek, does Rhett still have that?
No, I don't think he's got shitload. He bought an airplane hangar. He got a bunch of. You know what he did buy? We did an episode with a school bus to get kids to school on a school day, and I put a flamethrower on a bus.
Yeah, I remember that episode.
Rutt bought that bus. They made him take the flamethrower off, but they bought the bus, and I think he had to return the plow because the plow was expensive, so we had to return that. But he drove his kids to school in that bus. Had a straight pipe exhaust. We all burnt our fingers on that fucking exhaust pipe.
Oh wow!
Every one of us leaned into it at some point during that shoot.
Yeah,
that's Rutt's famous clocks running. Have you heard the clocks times running out, clocks ticking with me in those hands story? Okay, so yeah, that was that episode. Basically, we had mannequins in the bus, and we were using them as school kids. So Rut finds the hands, and he puts the hands in his jacket. He's walking around for 2 days, just fucking with people with the hands. Right after day one, like we're laughing, but after day one, he's still doing it, and I'm like, clock's ticking with me in those hands. He's like, what do you mean? And he wasn't stopped. We're in the bus one day. We're shooting something because I'm sitting here, Rut's sitting here, and Tanner's driving. And Rut goes, "Are you sure?" And I went, "That's it." And we're driving. Ripped the hands off of him. Tanner's still going down the highway. I pried open the doors because he's trying to hold the doors closed with the handle. I just pried them open and shoved the hands out and sat back down. And it was dead silent for about 2 minutes. No one said anything.
How long did it take you guys to shoot one of those shows?
The Journey episodes were like 5 days, 6 days. Depends. The longer episodes, the Journeys ones, like we went to Iceland and Mexico and Cuba, those were like 5 or 6 days. The other ones are like 3 if they were just challenges. But a lot of them we would fly in night before, shoot for 2 days, and be daylight dependent. So we were always, after like 3 days, wherever we were shooting, we were always running to get a plane because we're always on like the last plane after sunset to get out to where we had to go because we all had other jobs at the time. Tanner was racing, I was doing Nurse Jackie, Rut was doing NASCAR, so we were always in and out. So Tanner always drove to get us to the plane because Rut drives too slow and I get us lost even with GPS. So and Tanner's a pain in the ass. If he's not driving, he gets car sick. So all right, go drive. And so we were on top of we did Pikes Peak. So the sunset, we shoot our last scene on Pikes Peak, and we're coming down Pikes Peak to make an airplane. I get I get altitude sickness. Plus, and Tanner's throwing me around in the back of this minivan. So, and we got to make this plane. So I'm throwing up outside the minivan. He's like, "You want me to stop?" I go, "No, just let me know when you're making right turns, because if I throw up, if you make a left turn, it's going to come back in the car." So I had to throw up on right turns.
Yeah, was that the one with everybody had a minivan or something, or
no, that was Colorado. That was the Continental Divide. Everybody had that was the one. I remember I had an E63 wagon because there was no air and the turbos were choking. So I remember that. I had that. I'm not quite sure what Tanner and Rut had, but I just remember that one. But yeah, that was Pikes Peak, and then there's a bunch of other stories we have just by getting to airplanes and stuff. Oh, Rut, because Rut likes to be at the airport like 2 hours. He's there before the pilots. The planes aren't even in yet. Rut's there. So I forget. I was staying at his house or something. For some reason, I don't know. I said, "What time we got to get up?" He goes, "Don't worry, get up. 7 o'clock, whatever it is." So we're sitting in the lounge at the airport waiting for Tanner, and I look at him. I go, "What time's the flight?" He goes, "We got about 2 hours." I go, "What? What are we doing here so early?" And he's sipping a drink. He goes, "What are we doing?" He's got a Bloody Mary. He goes, "What is it?" Because there's no anxiety. We have a cocktail. It's lovely. I go, "What are you?" Tanner, he's coming out. They're closing the door behind him. We called him. He was still in bed.
Oh, wow.
He was still asleep. So we had to wake him up and get him to the airplane. Yeah, that was the show. Was always Rut was early, I was on time, and Tanner was late.
So
for meetings, for breakfast, for everything.
How did you guys pick your cars for that stuff?
We fought. We would they would say, "All right, we're doing this." Like I remember once we all fought over the Mercure XR4 Ti. Remember that car?
I think so. That wasn't the
super like a wash machine, and C3PO had a baby. It had 2 square pocket lights in the front with a monocle.
Oh yeah, okay.
It had the 2 spoilers on the hatchback.
Yeah, they kind of look like the Escorts.
Yeah, it was almost like a Cosworth, but it was like different. So we all fought over that car. Tanner won that one. We all fought over the Grand National. I got that, and then I blew the head gasket in it. There was another car we all fought over. It depended on what we do. Like we would get an email, and Rut always answered the emails first. We would get an email. We're doing 80s cult classic cars. What are your choices? We'd send in 3 choices, and we'd all fight over which one. Nobody fought me over the Cadillac Alante, though. The 93 Alante with the North Star. They said, "You can have it." Said, "Okay, thank you." Creeps. So yeah, that's how we would pick it. They would tell us what we were doing, what the idea was, and then we would just give our our suggestions, and then they'd always come back. I'd always get the, I don't have the budget. I go, yes, we do. We can do that. But yeah, like I remember the limos one. I think it was a 69 Mark Lincoln. And I stretched it, and I said I want to cut the roof off. I want to make it like an open chauffeur's thing, like the Buckingham Palace stuff. And my whole concept for my limo was I have one passenger, and they're very special. So I built a Pope Mobile.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah. And the accelerator hung on that thing, and we were supposed to go through this whole gauntlet thing, right? So this was a 69 Lincoln. This was, banged up. Big girl, banged up. So the accelerator hung, it would stick, right? And I was coming in for something, and I'm like, fuck, Dave, it's just sticking, right? So I'm trying to get the pedal. I'm punching the pedal, it just keeps going, and I'm trying to downshift. I'm like, transmission's gonna fall out. I'm doing whatever I can to stop this thing. I'm on the brakes, just grinding and stuff. I hit the back of Tanner had an old 190E we used for something, and it was still in the motor pool, and we were shooting. I hit the trunk of this 190E. I pushed that thing all the way up to the C pillar.
Oh wow!
Boom! It stopped, right, and then the accelerator, it didn't hang. It released, and I just saw this smashed Mercedes just slowly rolling into the hangar. Yeah, boom! And it just stopped right there. I was waving to the fellas. So yeah, that was a beast, that car.
Yeah, I remember the Grand National one because they kept saying how you were cheating on that one because they're like, that didn't cost that much.
It had an intake in it. I think it had an intake in it.
Yeah, that car was pretty cool.
Yeah, then the head gasket went, but we fought over that one too. I was gonna buy that one too, and the head gasket went. I was also gonna buy there was an '87 Alpha, the graduate one. Yeah, it was steel wheels. It wasn't that impressive, but it was, when you connect with a car, it had that wooden handle, had that 45-degree long throw shifter, and I was driving around, and for some reason I could rev match with it. And it was just like, it makes you feel like you're a better driver than you are. Like, look at me doing shit. It was like, I really liked the car. I said, I'm going to buy this little car. Tanner wrecks me in a drag race. I go, all right, there goes plan
A. So I got a question. Who exactly was the Stig in that?
No idea. I do know he smelled like Polo Cologne on one episode and Chinese food on another, but we have no idea who it was. I think Tanner knew. We didn't know.
So I know you're also in a bunch of other shows too, like was that Rescue Me?
Rescue Me, yeah. I played a firefighter. That was fun. I just went to the FDIC, which is the National Firefighters Convention in Indianapolis. They have it at Lucas Oil Stadium, and I've been there a couple of times, but I went again this time just to say hello. And I'm working on this other project, and I love hanging out with the firefighters because it's like this. We tell stories, and I hear their stories. I share my stories, and they let me drive. They let me drive an electric fire truck.
Oh wow!
2 Volvo motors in it. This thing it's a Rosenbaum. Rosenblatt. All I know is it can't fight fires Fridays after sundown. It's a country truck. So it's an electric truck, and the cool thing was there's no mirrors. It's all cameras. So you got 2 side view cameras, you got a rear view camera, and then you got the big. This thing is 1 fuse away from not being able to see anything, but it was all set up, and they let me take it for a ride. So I'm sitting in there, and it's like 4 lanes of traffic, and they said 4 lanes of an entrance into a larger parking lot. And he said, okay, just turn the car around, just turn the truck around. And I'm like, this thing has the turning radius of Pittsburgh. I'm going to go up on the wall. You're setting me up. I'm going to go up on the wall. It's not. It's 4-wheel steering. Sure enough, just this, Dave.
Just went right around?
Right around. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Quiet, man, just instant pickup. This thing's heavy. This thing's friggin' heavy. But still, it's right there for you. So, and I couldn't open it up because we were in like a little parking area, but I could feel it like when I
pretty torquey.
Like, ooh, look at that. Yeah. So that was fun. I got that. I got to ride in a hovercraft, a rescue hovercraft, which was really cool.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's all on my Instagram. I got to do that. Then they asked me to do the opening ceremony with the bagpipe band. So I got to march with the so nervous. I'm on the wrong foot. I got this, I don't want to fuck up a look on my face. But yeah, it was really fun to be with the firefighters.
You get to wear a kilt?
I didn't have to wear a kilt. Thank God I don't have the legs. But I did get to put it out. I got to use the hose, and they said, "You want a car fire?" I said, "Yeah, okay." So you got to wet the ground first, so the fuel doesn't come and engulf you, right? So you wet the ground. So I wet the ground first, and then they said, "Do you want to go to the hood? Do you want to use the hose? Or you want to use the Halligans? Give me the Halligan." Because you got to vent the hood. You got to vent it so when you open it, the flames don't shoot out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got a pick on the end of it, and you smash the hood and you pry it open. You see all the vents coming out, and then you release the latch. And I used the Halligan as a hood stick, and we just put it up, and they put the fire out. So that was really cool too.
Cool.
I get to break. I get to put out a fire I didn't start. Usually I'm starting them, so that was pretty cool. Yeah,
I seen the video on Facebook where you were rappelling down the building.
That was another thing. That was the Leary firefighters. That was at the Rock Training Center. So that was two different events I did. That was the training center at Randall's Island in New York, and we did that every year to raise money for the firefighters. And it was me. It was Dennis Leary. It was Mariska Haggerty. Was Haggerty? I'm saying that correctly. Chris Maloney, Billy Crudup, and we all go through the training with all the people that donate for the firefighters. So it's a lot of fun. So yeah, I rappelled down a building. I did a bunch of stuff. There, I got to I cut open a Buick. That was fun. With the jaws of life, I got to cut open a Buick.
Oh, that would be a blast.
Yeah, and these things they just did. They used to be pneumatic, so they had to connect to an air tank. But now they just because they're all battery operated, and just keep ripping these things open. And then you got to cut the hinges, and you got to cut the wiring harness coming through the door, and then the whole door falls off, and then you save people. I just wrecked the shit out of this thing. I cut this door. I took the door off. I took it out on Adam, the door's off. I go, nah, it's got to learn. It's got to learn.
So he showed it who was boss.
That was right. I killed that door.
No, that is very cool.
Yeah.
And you said that's all for charity?
Yeah, that was to raise money for the Leary Firefighters Fund. So it's nice because I was a firefighter. I get to played a firefighter on TV. I was never a firefighter, but and when I do stand up, I go around the country, and if I have time, I always invite the firefighters to come down to the show. Or when I have time, I'll go to the houses, and just to bullshit with the guys and say hello. We trade shirts. I'd give them,
Mm-hmm.
I got a bunch of fire shirts and stuff, and a lot of times they ask me to sit and have lunch with them or dinner with them. So the meal in a firehouse is sacred. So I was able to sit at that table and hear those stories. So that was I'm really honored to be able to have been accepted that way by the fire community.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's like car people. I just did the Marconi Auto Museum. I did stand up for John Marconi here in California. I'm pointing Tustin, California. It's that way. So we did a whole stand-up show there. I did a benefit for him, and he said, "You want to come back and do a show?" And I said, "Yeah." And it's a nice thing just to be around car people. They set up a whole stage, and we did it right in the museum. And,
yeah, I kind of watched some of the videos right before you were doing that and walking around and stuff, and it was really cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. I mean, that's a nice thing about car people. It doesn't matter, who you love, what God you pray to, or how you voted. You want to bring car people together? Lift up a hood, and people just start staring, and they go, "You think it's a solenoid? Could be the solenoid. Smack the solenoid. See if we get the start of the kick. It'll be all right."
True. Yeah, I know that's like a lot of the events around here, and that usually there's some people you almost can't get along with outside of it, but then when you're at a car show, it's like, oh wow, look at that, and start talking.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It's fun to be able to have a place to go that's like that for a common interest with people.
I mean, I took my car to one or two last year because I've got a 2001 Mustang GT.
Nice.
And yeah, I had to rebuild the engine last year, and I got about 2 weeks out of the car.
Oof.
And then it started getting cold and rainy, and I just couldn't drive it anymore. And and then it's still sitting in storage right now.
Yeah, it happens.
But you're also, I mean, you do a lot of stand up and stuff too. You look like you're always on the road.
I got a wife, Dave. She eats every day.
Same.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I'm actually, I don't know when this is going to drop, but what do I got coming up? If you are in this area, come see me. I will be at the Houston Improv. I got it right here. The Houston Improv. I will be there May 26th, 27th, and 28th. Then June 2nd and 3rd, I will be in Beverly, Massachusetts at a club called Off Cabot. And then June 9, 10, and 11, I will be at the San Jose Improv in San Jose, California. So I don't know when it's going to drop, but that's where I'll be.
I'm going to try to get it out as soon as I can. So probably within the next day or two.
Perfect.
And
so
I mean,
come see me. My podcast is also the Adam Ferrara podcast. 30 minutes, you'll never get back. Who I had on? I had Rutt and Tanner on. Of course, we told a bunch of stories. I had Richard Hammond on from the UK show. He was a lot of fun. Chip Foose was on.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people on there. So a bunch of car people, a bunch of comics, a bunch of actors and stuff. Because I do different things, and I'm very grateful that I get a chance to put my fingers in all these different pies and bring people like that into the podcast. I had Nathan Lane did one for me. He was very funny. Leno.
Oh, cool.
Talking about, I asked him about the Barracuda he flipped on the show. That 67 Barracuda. Yep. I was like, man, rear window. You can't get those just anywhere.
Yeah, because that was with
that was the Hemi under glass car.
Yep. Yeah, that was a cool car.
Yeah.
I know.
Too much cowbell. And you know who else I had on the show? Mike Burke is a stunt driver. When I was doing Rescue Me at the time, I was doing the Fireman Show, and I had got Top Gear last year. The last year of Rescue Me was the first year of Top Gear, and I was doing a stand-up tour, so I didn't sleep a lot that year. So I was going back and forth, and I wanted to. My wife was very nervous when I took Top Gear. She's like, "You're a lunatic." Okay, so I promised her that I would go and take stunt driving lessons. So I asked our stunt coordinator on Rescue Me, was Danny Aiello's son, Danny Aiello III. And I said, who do you got? He says, go call this guy, Mike. Okay. So I called Mike. I went down to this airport in Jersey, and he had these cars. He had an old Impala. He had the old, like 78, 70, the rear wheel drive with the square lights. Remember?
Oh, okay.
Big, yeah. So rear wheel drive, square lights, big girl, heavy. He had that, and he had Chevy Luminas, front wheel drive, a little bit of edge when you e-brake and slide and stuff. So those are the two cars he had. And you go down there and you do, I know what everybody else knows on a wet parking lot with a rent-a-car,
Mm-hmm.
So we're doing follows, we're doing 180s, 360s, and then you got to do the chase and everything. And I could do it, the Rockford turn, which was good. I always oversteered on the Rockford turn when I was doing it on my own. He showed me, he goes, you only need this much, and you got to allow the car to. See, that's the thing about the cars. And the one thing I did really take away from that, and I still don't have it in my life, but it's patience. Because once you put the input into the car, this thing's 5,000 pounds. You got the big girl's got to be able to take the instructions and do what it's got to do,
Yep.
So that's why I would always oversteer, because of patience. So when he taught me how to wait and then slap the transmission into drive and make it look smooth and everything. So it was fun. It was a lot of fun. And my wife calmed down. She's like, okay, you can do this. So, and then when I met Tanner on and we were driving and everything, he said, he goes, you have no risk management system. I go, what does that mean? He goes, you're fucking crazy. That's what it means. Okay. He goes, the throttle's on or off for you. I said, yeah, okay. You're not wrong.
So how scary was that Viper? Because I know you were kind of like, yeah.
Yeah. Well, here's what happened in the tunnel. Tanner did the run first. Here's the thing. Tanner was our safety guy. A lot of people asked us, was that really you that jumped the caddy? I'm like, this is basic cable. We didn't have money for lunch. You think we had a stunt budget? Of course, that was me. So what Tanner said, he went first. He would always do the safety stuff. Actually, after the jump, he didn't do anything with the jump. He was like, okay, maybe I should say something. So he always took us around in an SUV if we had to run a track and show us to be careful here, So that was his domain, and everybody listened to Tanner. So he's like, I'm going through first. And he had a McLaren. I know we fought over the McLaren, too, because that was a coast-to-coast run, and everybody wanted suspension. I wanted the suspension. So when he got the McLaren, I went, fuck, because I like the suspension in the McLaren. And I was like, all right. Then I went with the Viper because I'm like, we're going across the United States. I got to have an American supercar.
Yep.
Noisy. I was deaf by Pennsylvania, Dave. The dump tubes were right here. Side pipes were right here by my ear. Deaf by fuck. But the place, it was new. So the place, it smelled like a baseball glove with all the leather inside. It was really, really cool. Loud girl. So Tanner says, I'll go through first. So he did like $165 through that tunnel. And he came out and he goes, all right, Adam, look. He goes, you got big tires. That's uneven pavement. When those tires catch on the inside, you're going to spin into the wall. Just bring it up to like 90. Just don't go over that. All right, fine. So be careful. Okay, so he gave me the whole thing. So when you're in a Viper, when the Viper red lines on the tack, the tack goes red and a snake comes up.
Oh, cool.
I like to see that.
I would too.
Redline every gear. I'm talking to the camera, and that's the hardest thing to do is drive and talk. So I'm talking to the camera, and I redlined it, and it comes up like this. And so I'm distracted, and I'm screaming into the camera, and it's getting hairier and hairier. So last time I looked down, it was like $147.
Oh wow!
And I came out screaming out the tunnel, and Tanner and Rut are here, and Tanner he can hear miles per hour. He can calculate in his head. He just has that ability. So I come screaming out of the tunnel, and then we come back. When we come back, the cameras are set up, and we have to do the initial reaction because everyone wants our initial reaction. He's fucking steaming. He's angry. So we're on. They didn't use this take. We're on camera. He goes, "How fast are you going?" I said, "It was like $147 last time I looked down." He goes, "You're a fucking idiot." He yelled at me. And Tanner leaned in. He goes, "What he's trying to say is he loves you and he was worried. He just doesn't know how to express it." So Tanner, Rutten made peace with me and Tanner. But yeah, he was genuinely angry.
Oh, wow.
Because I didn't listen. And I didn't realize the danger I was in. But,
yeah, but sometimes it's worth it. I mean, that would be fun. It's on my bucket list to drive.
It was a fun time of my life doing the shit I got to do. I got to drive up a volcano in Iceland. You kidding me?
That one was a cool one too. That was the big trucks, I think.
Non-turbo diesel truck.
Yup.
We weren't doing it in a hurry. And I'm carrying all the fuel.
Did you guys just keep that thing running all the time so it didn't gel up, or?
Oh, you know what we did? It was like, because we were sleeping on the glacier. We were sleeping in huts and stuff. We had to take the wheels off the trucks.
Oop, I think you're freezing up there.
The wheels didn't freeze onto the truck. There we go.
There we go.
So yeah, that's what we did, and we were going across a glacier. So the people cooking us dinner because there's no pizza. Whatever you get, you're just a traveling army. They're giving us curry and putting us into a fine space. I'm like, what is wrong with you?
Oh wow.
Yeah. So it was a fart fest. Sleeping with Tanner and it's me nose to head. Forget it.
Yeah, that was a very cool episode. I mean, what was about your favorite episode that you guys ever did?
There was so many. I mean, there was so many. We had fun. I mean, the Abs episode was one of my favorites because I got to drive. I spoke to Caddy and they brought me the CL, the concept car.
Mm-hmm.
Gorgeous looking. It's held together with duct tape and hope, but still, it's gorgeous looking. I got to what made me laugh on that. Rut and I, every couple of months, would get into laughing fits. We can get out of it. The first one I think happened on the Big Rig episode because when we gave each other the names, our trucker names, we were sitting at lunch one day because we had every meal together. We ate breakfast together. We were together. So I said, boys, we got to come up with trucker names. All right. So we were fucking on camera, and Tanner's original name was Captain Who Thinks He's Fantastic. I don't know why we were in Elton John movie, but that turned into Tiny Dancer. So we're all laughing. Tanner has committed himself to racing. He knows nothing from 1993 to like current day. It's just a blank. He was just making a left. That was all he was doing, So he's like, "What's that?" I go, "It's an Elton John song. You're a Tiny Dancer." I was, "Oh, well." So he didn't even know the song. So me and talking to him using the lyrics from Tiny Dancer, and he's got no clue. He's sitting in the truck, and I'm just sitting there. I go, "Tanner, listen. Now just softly, slowly count the headlights on the highway." And Rut just starts laughing. He can't stop, and now he's doing it. He's going back to Tanner. Tanner, hold me closer, Tiny Dancer. And Tanner's like, what? And I'm falling out because he's got no clue. And we just hit a laugh and we went through the whole fucking song. So that was the first time. And the second time was on Adam's episode. We're up in the tower. It was at Miller Racing. And Tanner's in a GT40, a kit car. You're going around the track. And I remember the kit car. The brake cable was too short, so every time a left turn. So Tanner's going around, and for some reason we came up with, I don't know, it was a Ferrari Mondial. I don't know why a Mondial was in there. And I made a joke like, this is the Ferrari you buy the wife when she catches you cheating with the babysitter.
Gotcha.
And Tanner just goes, what? Rhett goes, what? I thought you would like it. It's to do with Katie. And I fell out laughing. They used it in the episode. We just got into one of those laughing fits. And it would happen every couple of months. It happened on the camping episode. I made a fire in Buick. So the tailpipe shot flames out and we can cook hot dogs on it. And I forget what we did there, but me and Rut would always, a couple of months, just uncontrollably laugh. And like I said, that's what made the show for us. I mean, I told the guys, listen, the key to this show is we're going to get the car guys for free, but if we can capture the camaraderie, the adventure, and not die in a fireball, we'll have something. Yep. So at the end of the first season, I remember we had done the Tonight Show together. The next morning, that night they put a plane after the Tonight Show and flew us to Alaska, and we did 6. That was our first big journey.
Okay.
That's when I had I'm going to say a 78. It was a Frankenstein rat rod Ford.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think it was a 73 chassis on a 70. I don't know what it was. It was put together with hope. I need to keep it alive. But that was the first trip we took. And I remember telling the guys, we were having breakfast by a fire in the morning, and I said, they're going to find the show, or we're going to kill each other, but we'll get an answer at the end of these 6 days. And what happened was Tanner was ill. Tanner was really, really sick. He had a fever. So he shot that with a cold the whole time. And he won't mind me telling this. His daughter got bit by a dog right before we went in the face. So we didn't know who it was. And there was no phones. We were on satellite phones because we were in Alaska. So there was that uncertainty, and we had a man down. So there was nothing spoken between me and Rut or the rest of the crew, but I just felt us instinctually just close ranks, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like we got to get down and get all through this together. We kind of closed ranks around
Oh,
Tanner.
cool.
And I think that's what kind of that energy and that protectiveness or that awareness of protectiveness kind of helped us find the show. And awesome. It was just fun. They're just fun guys to hang out with. So if it looks like we're having fun on the show, we were.
Cool.
We were. Our lives.
So how was his daughter then? Is she okay?
Oh, she's fine.
Okay.
And everything worked out. But, you know, it was that uncertainty and, all right, we're in this together. There was that moment and the moment we did in the apocalypse. We did an apocalypse episode.
Oh, yeah.
I think we put a Toyota on a Crown Vic. I forget what we did. We jacked up a Toyota for some reason. And I just remember I put saw blades on the end because there's going to be zombies.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So you got to cut them in the head. And I had a catapult. I had a catapult on the top, and the only ammunition we had was soup and melons. I remember I had the catapult. We were launching cans of soup and melons at the zombies, and we had blades on the front. And then Rut electrified the thing, and we kept shocking Tanner with the electric. So it was good. And Tanner was driving it. But so there was a scene where we had to come down this old abandoned. It was an old mining place we found. We had to come down. We had to drive through a garage, just bang, blast through a garage, go up a ramp, jump another garage, and land on the other garage.
Oh wow!
So it was a full blown stunt, and Tanner's a full blown stunt driver, and we got a basic cable budget. So basically, say your prayers and hope you land on your wheels. So we're all sitting there, we're all strapped in. And the director's about to call action, green, green, green. And you could see Tanner turning around. And I saw his face kind of said, oh, fuck, I forgot you guys are here. You know, because it's not like he's just doing a stunt. He's like, because now he's responsible for our lives, too. You know, so you can see, like, I don't think it registered. You know, it was just another job for him. But, you know, these two idiots are going to fly. And we did it anyway. You know, we're in. I forgot you guys are here. And you could see his face. And I remember we all put our hands in the middle, like I said, and on top of each other. And I said, all right, boys, let's dance. And then he just hit the gas and we did it. Cool. I remember that record. Oh, this is what it was. And we were doing it in the dark. because we were doing it on a camera because for some reason it was an infrared camera because we wouldn't be able to see it or anything. So it was
Okay.
It was a tense moment. Like we didn't realize that. Oh fuck, this is what we're doing. All right. So.
Yeah, that was actually a really good episode too, because I remember you guys were driving around like some suburban like suburb in that basically blind.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, I forgot about the blind part, Dave. I apologize.
Oh no, you're good.
So, but yeah, I mean and we still love each other. I just got a text from. I just did this thing in Mexico for Toyota that Rudd had done like 2 years ago or something, and I sent him a text. And he was in the UK. He was shooting in the UK. So it's like the night before I got to get on a plane. It's 3:00 in the morning and the phone rings and it's him. I see Rudd. I go, "Hello, you all right? Hey, Mexico tomorrow." I said, "It's 3:00 in the morning. I thought you needed bail money." You know, he's in the UK. He's just so yeah. I just spoke to those guys.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we still love each other. So
you guys plan on doing anything in the future together, like another top?
Here's the thing, Dave. We don't own the rights to a Top Gear, so we can't bring it back because it's not ours. You know, but we'd love to do something. Just to, it's got to be the right thing.
Cool. Well, I know you said you were kind of crunched on time. So is there anything that you want to kind of pimp out?
Your podcast. Listen to the Blown Piston podcast. You're gonna love it. And I thank you for having me on. Check me out on all my social medias. I got tour dates coming up. Come see me live. If you do come see me live, please come up after the show and let me shake your hand. I want to thank you and find out what you're driving. All right.
Awesome.
Be happy, Dave. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. Thank you for being on.
You got it, my friend. Take good care.
You too.